As the Conservative Party of Canada's leadership race comes to a close, the discussion of Canadian values is still top of mind. A lot of outside observers, including many in the media, have tried to say that this discussion of values is inherently coming from a place of racism or xenophobia, and that this is the Conservative Party of Canada's brazenly xenophobic appeal to populism. Well, a few polls that have come out, even in the last week, have shown that this discussion of values is not just a Canadian Conservative Party topic, but one that appeals to all Canadians. There was a Radio-Canada poll that came out that talked about the fact that 2/3 of Canadians believe that there is something positive about immigrants being screened for Canadian values. And then just the other day, we had a poll from Atlantic Canada that was done by a group called CRA that revealed yet again 2/3 of Atlantic Canadians similarly believe that immigrants should be screened for Canadian values. Now, this is an interesting turn of events because everyone has this image that Canadians are these tolerant, open-minded, easygoing, loving people, and we are. But why does that behavior, why does that attitude have to come at the expense of looking out for our own security and sovereignty, and more importantly, looking out for our own immigration process? 2/3 of Canadians in all regions, and some regions even more, particularly in Quebec, where the number is closer to 3/4, believe that what Kelly Leitch has proposed in the leadership race is a positive thing. What does that mean? Well, not that Canadians are anti-immigrant, nor that Conservatives are anti-immigrant. Quite the contrary. Even the pollster of the Atlantic Canada study said as much when analyzing the results. I don't think that means that Atlantic Canadians are in any way anti-immigrant. I don't think that. It has nothing to do with that. It's the protection of our core values that make us Canadian that people feel are important to make sure that we are attracting people that agree with those values. But here's where things get tricky, because an immigrant advocate in Halifax, Nova Scotia has come out and said that the findings not only show that Canadians are xenophobic or bigoted or racist, or you fill in the blank there, but that even asking the question, a pollster deciding to gauge what people think of this policy proposal that's been put forward is coming from an unpleasant place. This is what he said, I kid you not. I think asking the question comes from a place of misunderstanding and of fear, said Jerry Mills, Executive Director of Immigrant Services Association of Nova Scotia, to Metro News. Just asking the question, I think, instills in people that perhaps immigrants don't share Canadian values. So he says even talking about this, even asking what people think about this, is something that comes from a place of fear, a place of not wanting people to integrate into Canadian society. Now, anyone knows that Atlantic Canada is one of the most open-minded, easygoing parts of the country. They bring in lots of immigrants. They want people to value hard work and family. But asking, well, what do you think about these things? What do you think about gender equality? What do you think about hard work? That is wrong, but asking people what they think about those questions is similarly wrong. But this is the problem, because right now we're dealing with one of these disconnects between the media and between the voices that claim they represent Canadians and the voices of actual Canadians. When anywhere from 2/3 to 3/4 of the country is on side with this idea of value screening, and the media is still insisting on saying that it is racist to talk about that, we've seen what happens when the media is not representing or not even hitting close to what the people they claim to serve represent. And what did we get out of it? Donald Trump. Now, for some of you, that may be a good thing. For some of you, that may be a bad thing. But the fact of the matter is, there are going to be some very surprised and very shocked journalists and pollsters in this country, except the pollsters are actually getting it right this time. For the Rebel.media, I'm Andrew Lawton. Hey, check out the Rebel.media for lots more great content, and become a premium member. You'll get access to things you won't see anywhere else. Stick it to the elites the way you can.